And now, following your consumer advocate Craig Sewing for the 7 p.m. hour, he's a San Diego native, a top-rated real estate professional by the Wall Street Journal, and featured regularly on Channel 4's The American Dream Saturday mornings. It's Whissel time. Your host, Kyle Whissel.
Good evening. And stepping in for Kyle tonight is the co-host Jason Hall with Team Home Loans. Also in studio, one of our top loan officers at Team Home Loans, Travis Saling. How you doing, Travis?
Doing great, Jason. How you doing?
Good. Hey, what you want to know about Travis is he's from Northern California, not a San Diego native like Kyle and I. So it brings some interesting sports, and it also brings in some interesting politics in our office.
Definitely.
So Travis is definitely a millennial. Definitely is batting from the left side, Mr. Hall from the right side. And so we're definitely going to have some fun tonight talking real estate, talking mortgages, talking San Diego, talking sports, talking politics. But I'm going to jump right into it, Paul. Do you know Norman Powell of the Toronto Raptors? Did you watch him at all or see the highlights?
A little bit, yeah.
All right, so Norman Powell is a San Diego native. I had the pleasure of coaching Norman at 7 years old in track. We did some soccer. Didn't really like soccer as much. Tried to get him in baseball. He came out like one day in baseball. Played football. Didn't like football. And lo and behold, in junior high, he starts to pick up basketball a little bit. Doesn't really develop into a great game until his sophomore year at Lincoln, but turns in this mammoth player that went on to UCLA, was a star at UCLA, and is now a rookie at Toronto. And he is one of the minutes leaders on the team. Doesn't score a ton of points, averages, only 6-7 points a game, but he scored 10 last night. But they led off the Sports Center with his steal and jam, and they replayed it watching this kid. He's only like 6'3", 6'4", but he has like this 40-inch vertical leap and loves to lean and slam dunk. And it's always nice to see a story from San Diego. But somebody I literally saw cry in an airplane because he was scared to death at 8 years old to fly when we did a track meet back in Florida. So that's kind of the update on Norman. So he's doing really well, and we're excited to see him. And hats off to the Powell family, his mom Sharon, his sister Margaret, all great people, and all San Diego natives.
Yeah, that's great to see, especially anytime someone from San Diego does well on the national stage. It's good to see, especially in a sport that, San Diego it's a underappreciated basketball town.
It really is.
There's some great basketball in San Diego. It's starting to pick up prominence, especially with San Diego State now being on the national stage, and some other high school players getting highly recruited out of here to big schools and then going on to the NBA. So we're an up-and-coming basketball town, so it's great to see guys like him do something on the national stage in the NBA playoffs.
Right. I know there's other guys out there that I'm going to miss. And if you throw way back, we all know Bill Walton. But recent guys, like the last 10 years, you had Chase Budinger, who I still think is still playing. If he's not, he's just recently retired, but I think he's still playing. You have Jared Dudley, who's still playing. He's played for a bunch of teams. He might be wrapping up his career now. And Jared went to Horizon with my kids. Jeff Withey, who went to Horizon, 7-footer, went on to Kansas. He's now playing.
The number one or two
Utah.
Number 1 or 2 recruit in the 2017 draft class going from high school going into college is from San Diego.
Who is that?
I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's a huge kid.
All right, one of the tall kids. All right. So and now we got Norman. So it's nice to see, like you said, and so I just want the San Diego people to know we're representing NBA because historically, you're right, Paul, we've not had a strong high school basketball program, but last 10 years, we've really put some great stars, and that's great to see. So I did a little shout-out to Norman. Also, are you guys watching the NBA playoffs?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm watching a little bit.
All right, so a little bit for Travis. So what do you like?
Well, I like my Spurs.
All right, so you like your Spurs, especially
Still healthy.
Still healthy. 4-game sweep, and I'm going to kind of second what Greg Popovich and Jared, the coach for the Grizzlies, said. That was an undermanned Grizzly team that went against the Spurs, and they fought their tails off. I mean, they had it was like almost like that movie 300, where the Spurs were the Spartans and the Grizzlies were the 300. They fought till the last man, and credit to them. There's good things coming from the Memphis Grizzlies. They could have won a couple of games if they were full strength.
All right, that's all we're going to talk about Memphis. All right,
okay,
that's all. We can't talk anymore about Memphis, man.
Sorry.
I'm still not a believer. I'm just teasing you, Paul. But not a San Diego native, but a San Diego State
Yes.
Is Kawhi Leonard.
Kawhi Leonard.
So we love talking about Kawhi. All of us that went to state. I know Travis went to state. You went to state.
Yes, sir.
Paul. I didn't get to go. I was accepted and had babies instead and started working in the mortgage business at a young age. But I've been supporting state for many, many years. And Kawhi Leonard quietly is becoming one of the best 5 players in the NBA.
Well, you're even hearing it like on Inside the NBA on TNT. Like when they're talking top 5 players, Kawhi's always in there.
Always mentioned. And the reason I mention quietly is he's not outspoken. He's not LeBron James.
Finals MVP.
Even though he was the Finals MVP.
2-time Defensive Player of the Year.
Back to
Real
back.
quiet guy. But he is quiet.
Yeah.
And because he plays at San Antonio, they don't toot their own horn. Right, he's not going to get the press that a lot of these other kids get, and he doesn't want the press. That's what I mean quietly. So when you mentioned, Memphis playing San Antonio, that's of course the first thing I think of is Kawhi Leonard.
Exactly, and he's doing it the right way. And some people say, "Oh, he's only that good because he's in the San Antonio system." Well, you know what? He is the perfect fit for the San Antonio system. Like if Vince Carter, if Kobe Bryant back in the day gone to San Antonio, they wouldn't have done as well because they wanted to be flashy. They wanted to be the next Michael Jordan. That doesn't work in San Antonio. Kawhi Leonard's personality and the player he is, he throws down some monster dunks, but he's not pounding his chest and popping his jersey.
He's not doing shepherd and grabbing his muscles.
No, he's just like, okay, time to get back on D.
Right. No,
he fits in well. It's a perfect marriage between the San Antonio Spurs and Kawhi Leonard.
Popovich and the GM, whoever the GM is there, they've done a great job they draft and pull free agents that fit their system.
Absolutely.
They don't try to make these guys fit into their system. They only pull guys they know that will fit their system, and that's why they're consistently one of the top teams.
That's why a guy like David West opts out of a $13 million option with the Indiana Pacers to sign a veteran minimum $1.3 million contract to come and play for the San Antonio Spurs.
All right, so let's talk about some 40-year-olds playing on the Spurs. Did you realize that I think everybody knows Tim Duncan just turned 40, I think, like a couple days ago.
Yesterday.
All right, yesterday. Thank you for that, Paul. I know it was recent. And then Andre Miller, I didn't realize was playing on the team. I was watching the playoffs this weekend.
They signed him.
Andre's 40.
Yeah, they signed him about 2 weeks left in the season, and I didn't realize he was that old. I'm like, wow, I've been watching basketball that long. So I remember Andre Miller being a young guy.
Yeah, I remember playing at University of Arizona.
Exactly. So you know what? They find guys that fit their system, and they went from David Robinson to Tim Duncan to Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili to
Kawhi Leonard
and LaMarcus Aldridge. Like they're in good shape.
They're in good shape. So it's going to be interesting to see, especially now with the injuries. I mean, most people weren't talking about the Clippers being a deep threat, but now they've lost their 2 stars. They're pretty much
they're
done.
Cooked,
they're going to be lucky to even get out of the Portland series.
Yeah, exactly. They were expected to handle Portland and give the
Golden State
Warriors
a run.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially if they're going to be without the man.
Without Steph Curry. And now with their 2 big guys, their best player right now is DeAndre Jordan.
Yikes.
A guy that shoots free throws worse than I do. That's their best player right now.
All right, well, we got Mr. NorCal in here in Travis, right? So tell us, are you a Golden State fan?
I'm a Utah Jazz fan.
So you're still Utah Jazz.
So my playoffs have been over for weeks already, man. And
you guys missed it by one game.
It. Yeah, we
and
just
going
missed
into Kobe's game had one of the teams. What was it, Houston?
We needed.
It was Houston.
Yeah.
Houston won that game that forced you guys. That didn't matter win or lose. You guys were out.
It didn't matter. So at that time, I was actually kind of pulling for Kobe. Might as well go out with a bang. We were already eliminated. So do your thing. He dropped 50 on us, which was pretty cool to see. Most people seeing a
60,
Utah.
Just it wasn't 50, it was 60. Let's just make that's crazy.
Whatever.
Yeah. Hit that crazy button. That was crazy. But as far as in Northern California, we know you love the Niners.
That's crazy.
There you go. We know you love the Niners.
Ooh, draft day tomorrow.
Draft is tomorrow.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Ooh, man. I think we need to get some solid players, man. We are hurting a lot in a lot of positions. So
sound like the Chargers.
I wouldn't be surprised.
What are we going to do, Paul? I mean, I've been telling everybody, and we talked about this before. We've only drafted 1 offensive lineman in 20-something years as a Charger.
Yep.
People are like, it's definitely a need, but it's maybe not the biggest need is what all the NFL experts are saying for the Chargers?
I totally disagree. I think you go offensive line with this pick.
Do you like Tunsil, or who do you like?
Tunsil is there, and then there's also the kid out of Notre Dame, Ronnie Staley.
Right.
I think because they're drafting early in the second round, you might be able to pick him up in the second round. But I think Tunsil, a little bit of injury issues, but the kid's a beast down in the SECs. He's been in some serious trenches down there at Ole Miss.
And
so
let's let the listeners know, why are we saying offensive line? People don't realize, because you haven't heard of these guys because they're not big names, but what most of us don't know, and if you're listening right now, what you don't realize is that the hardest studs to get are the offensive linemen, because you don't get them in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round. Joe Montana was like a 6th, 7th round pick.
6th, yeah.
I mean, some of the greatest players of all time in other skilled positions you can get late in the round.
Tom Brady was a 6th round pick.
Tom Brady's a great,
right?
Tom Brady laying on his back doesn't do very good. He needs people blocking.
But the offensive line, for whatever reason,
absolutely.
They are so much harder to get, and the cream of the crop are always at the top. You do not find these guys on the streets or deep in the
They're not flashy picks, though. That's
exactly.
The thing,
but that's why they're so valuable, because in the 6th and 7th round, the great offensive linemen, the NFL quality offensive linemen, are already long gone. And Travis, you're right. They're not sexy picks because your wide receivers going to catch 3 or 4, 5, 6, 10 touchdowns. Offensive linemen, there's no stats. Like, it's not something you can market. You're not going to sell too many King Dunlap jerseys.
Yeah.
You might sell Keenan Allen jerseys. So but
Dunlap is like 7 foot, looks like to me. He's like, 6'8", 6'9". That guy's huge on there.
I'd rock a King Dunlap jersey.
I would too.
But to the casual, I mean, you as a franchise, you got to also market yourself to the casual football fans, and an offensive lineman, first round pick, isn't something that's going to sell to the casual football fans. And I think that's where some of the
Chargers
confusion
make
comes
the mistakes and throw guys out. As much as I love Melvin Gordon, had a chance to meet him on New Year's Day.
Yep.
I hope he does well. He didn't do well as his rookie year.
And if you draft a guy like Tunsil, I think you're going to improve. He's going to have a much better season.
Right. Melvin Gordon looked really good, and Rivers behind a great offensive line.
Yeah.
Anchored by
So you're going to pick him up in fantasy again?
Yeah, you know what?
It depends on the offensive line.
I'm going to tell you right now, Ezekiel Elliott, the kid from Ohio State, running back.
Oh, that kid's a beast.
Yeah. And depending on if he ends up at Dallas, and there's talk that he might go there, or Bosa, the D-line for Ohio State, so there's probably a good chance they're going to get one of those two guys, but there's also the Florida State Ramsey, I think is his name, the cornerback. It is crazy. The Cowboys literally can go from the players they've had at running back and maybe pick up. This guy might be the best talent in the draft. I mean, he's that good. I mean, he's won a national championship. The guy's carried teams on his back. He can receive the ball.
The Big Ten championship game against Wisconsin before they won the national championship.
59-0.
One of the most remarkable performances I've ever seen in a big time game against a big time program with a great defense, and he just ate alive the Wisconsin Badgers.
Yeah, no, the guy's a stud. I mean, he's a flat out stud. So, amazing stuff. Well, that's a little bit of our update there on the sports. Hold with us. Stay on. We're going to get into real estate. We're going to talk, is the market super hot? What's going on? Are we in another bubble? And with my liberal friend in studio with me and me being the conservative, we're going to talk some politics. We'll be right back. You're listening to 1170 AM The Answer.
AM 1170 The Answer and AM 1170theanswer.com.
Hey, Craig Sewing here, consumer activist. You hear me every day at 6 p.m. on KCBQ. My goal is to help you win in any marketplace. One of the things that applies to every single person that listens to our show and that's listening right now, you have a credit score, and more likely than not, it has inaccuracies on it. Nobody seems to understand how these things work. Here's what I can tell you. I have a credit expert that's a partner in the show named Iran Sinai. I call him the credit magician. If you've ever had any issues with your credit, you want to get your scores up, maybe a foreclosure, bankruptcy, or maybe just a collection. The city of San Diego can send parking tickets to collections. Crazy. Well, bad credit's a choice. Reach out to Iran Sinai. How do you do that? You go to our website, AmericanDreamElite.com. AmericanDreamElite.com. Hit me up on the contact form. I'll connect you with Iran. AmericanDreamElite.com. If you've ever had any credit issues whatsoever, AmericanDreamElite.com.
Hi, I'm Philippe Heller with the Real Estate Inspection Company. When buying real estate today, it's more important than ever to have a thorough home inspection to protect yourself. When quality and experience count, contact the Real Estate Inspection Company. We're the largest home inspection company serving San Diego for 10 years. After checking hundreds of items throughout a house, we provide a detailed, computer-generated inspection report. And we use the newest and best infrared thermal imaging at every inspection 7 days a week. Check us out at sdinspect.com. That's sdinspect.com.
This is Craig Sewing, and I endorse Philippe Heller as our exclusive inspector for San Diego.
Hi, this is AJ Gupta from the Gupta Legal Center. You've probably seen us on the American Dream TV show and the Craig Sewing radio show. We're honored to be featured as the exclusive real estate attorney and honored to be trusted by Craig and all of his top producing realtors. Our office was also featured as a super lawyer representing California's top 5% of attorneys. You may not know whether you need an attorney or not. My suggestion is you kind of have an idea whether there's a problem or a question. So I suggest if you don't know whether you need an attorney or not, give us a call. We're happy to pick up the phone, give you a call back, figure out what it is that you need to have addressed. If we can't or don't know the issue, then we can definitely point you in the right direction. Our phone number is 619-866-3444. That's 619-866-3444, and that's GuptaLC.com. GUPTALC.com.
I love some of that music, man. Sounds good. Thanks, Paul. Again, you're listening to 1170 AM The Answer. This is Jason Hall with Team Home Loans here on Whissel Wednesday. Co-host every Wednesday night at 7 to 8 p.m. And in studio with me tonight is Travis Saling, a senior loan officer at Team Home Loans, and my liberal friend. But before we talk politics, because last time we were in, we kind of had fun because we get into it.
We do.
You're definitely passionate on your beliefs, and I'm definitely passionate on mine. And we're not afraid to let it out a little bit. You know, a lot of real estate people want to walk the middle, don't want to, tell you their opinion on politics and sports and whether or not you should buy that house or not, or whether they just want to walk right down the middle. And I think we're very honest, upfront guys.
Definitely.
Right? That's just how we are. So let's talk about the market. What do you see going on in the market right now, in the real estate market in a whole, Travis?
Well, I think it starts with applications. The more applications you get, it basically dictates what's going to happen to the market a month, 2 months, 3 months down the road. And
you mean the demand, right? The purchase applications that help drive.
The buyers come to us and then they say, hey, I want to apply for a loan. Well, those buyers don't actually put offers in until, a couple weeks down the road typically. So when we see a real, spike in applications, it usually means that a little bit further down the road, there's going to be a lot of people applying for, putting bids in and offers in on properties, which is exactly what we're seeing right now. Last month was one of our highest
purchase
applications in a very long time. So that does mean that, spring and summer traditionally are the most
the highest demand time to purchase a home. Right?
Absolutely. No one wants to move during the holidays. They want to wait for their kids to finish school. There's a lot of reasons, but spring and summer traditionally the hottest times, and then that makes sense. So people are applying right now to buy their house in the next month or two. So there's a lot of competition is what we're seeing out there, 3-4 offers per property. And I think the important thing to know is that it's just a numbers game. You may not get that first house. You just have to have that mentality of like, this could take a while and I'm not going to get super bummed out to where I'm not going to try anymore. So that's the biggest thing is just, reminding, especially first-time home buyers, it might take 2 or 3 chances before you get your offer accepted.
Set the expectations.
Exactly.
Make sure you're doing a few things. Now, I know between the two of us, we could probably give some tips on some things that you can do to separate your offer from others. So even in a competitive environment, one of our listings last week had 33 offers.
Oh, my gosh.
It was a 720 square foot house, 720 square feet North Park.
That's crazy.
That is definitely crazy. 720 square feet. I'm going to repeat that again. 720 square feet, 33 offers.
Wow.
Went for over $450,000. It's north of $450,000. It's crazy, but that's how the market is. But here's how to separate. You want to make sure you do some additional things other than, hey, I just want the highest priced. I just want everything.
There are other things that the sellers agents are looking for out there.
Right. What are you looking for? So one suggestion that I think JC at Whissel Realty and I last night were able to overcome an offer. There was an offer already in there. Sellers getting ready to accept. JC slid our offer in, and the biggest thing I think they're going to take our offer now is we went with a shorter time frame.
Yep.
the seller really wants to close as soon as possible. And the other person was offering like 45 days. We offered like 21 days. And they think, we're going to confirm here probably tonight, I think we're going to win that deal. That's one of the things you can separate yourself.
I'm seeing that a lot on my offers as well. People offering, 21-day, very quick close times is important. I mean, if you're an investor, you want to go do this again, and you have holding costs. So you're paying typically a really high interest rate in order to flip that property. Okay,
but here's the thing. Just because you can say you can do it 21 days, you better make sure, unless you're paying in cash, that you're working with a lender that can close in 21 days, right?
Exactly.
And that, because the listing agent called me and said, hey, Jason, I know who you are. I just want to make sure. JC said you can close this client in 21 days. Are you confident you get it done? I'm like, yeah, we actually did one last month in like 2 weeks, but I don't advertise that like we talked about.
I don't advertise it either. It keeps coming across my desk, and it puts us in. Kind of puts us in a bind because now we're rushing. I mean, we can do it absolutely.
Right.
Like you said, you did it. I've done them.
So 21 days can be done.
It's definitely possible,
but it's not possible at every mortgage operation.
It's not. You're going to hit road bumps on different files for different reasons, but the biggest thing is to get all of your documents in before you even put your offer in. I can't tell you how much that when we have to slow down waiting for your pay stub or your W-2 or you can't find your tax returns, that eats away days. You're never going to close on time.
You want to be fully pre-approved, meaning
Absolutely.
You want all your information into your lender.
Right.
And you really want to work with a local lender. That's really a huge thing. Some of you can sit down with, talk, text, night, weekends. A lot of the big banks don't offer that. I used to work at some of the big banks. That's the reason we opened up Team Home Loans, is to have a shop that can help people. And we're not the only ones out there, okay? There's other companies out there, but you want to work with somebody that's local,
right?
Somebody that can help you get that done.
Well, a lot of the offers, they like to wait until Sunday night. Like, let's get all the offers over the weekend, and then we'll discuss, and we'll make a decision on Sunday night. Well, if you want to put an offer in on Sunday and you're working with a big bank, how are you going to get a new pre-approval letter to submit that offer? You're not. So it is.
Or how's that agent going to be able to call that lender who doesn't have a cell phone or doesn't answer his cell phone on a Sunday night saying, hey, can you do it in 21 days, Joe, Sally, whoever it may be?
Right. And that's something else that we're doing on every deal is calling the listing agent, introducing ourselves. So if they don't know us, we have a pretty good reputation of, hey, when we call, you've been in the business a long time. We really, leverage our relationships with other agents to.
So those are some good tips. Now, let's get into solar. I know we have on the phone, Mr. Austin is on the phone. Austin happens to be a brother of Mr. Sailing.
That's right.
How you doing, Austin?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Good. Hey, Travis, you want to tell Austin, not only is your brother, so I imagine, like you, a Northern California guy.
That's right.
Probably likes the Niners. Austin, do you like No, you don't like the Niners? Wow.
No, I'm a Green Bay fan.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He was the one born without good taste.
Wow. Listen to that.
Yeah.
All right. So
who's won a championship more recently?
Yeah. But it has been a while for Green Bay, right? I mean,
It has.
I mean, you guys got maybe the best quarterback, the best pure thrower I've ever seen. I think Paul would agree. The guy throws a crisper ball than anybody we've ever seen, puts it in the money. And it's been like 9 years since you guys have won a championship with this guy. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, it's I love Aaron Rodgers. He's like you said, he's the best pure quarterback we've seen in a long time, probably since Joe Montana.
Yeah.
But yeah, the guys.
Something's going on with Green Bay because you guys got the best quarterback and you guys can't win championships.
I think he could have done it 2 years ago if he didn't get hurt. I think they had the team where if he didn't get hurt, they would have done it.
Right, possibly.
And it just goes to show that the NFL is the ultimate team game. Like you can have 2 or 3 great players in the NBA and win an NBA championship. If you have 2 or 3 great players in the NFL, you're drafting first next year.
Right. Well, Travis, let's talk about Austin. What does Austin do? What do we got him on the phone for?
My brother, I had him call in here today because he actually works for Sunrun, which is a solar company. So we wanted to ask him some questions, see kind of what separates him from other solar companies, and if he has any offers out there that we could
talk about. And then let's talk about solar. So, all right, go ahead and interview your brother, Austin, Trav.
All right, Austin. So why don't you just describe a little bit about your company? Tell us a little bit about where you're located, what you guys do, and maybe what separates you guys from some of the other ones out there.
Sure. Yeah, so I mean, we're nationwide. We're in 14 states. We're mainly on both of the coasts, but we're constantly opening new states. So we're out here on the West Coast, and California obviously is one of our biggest states, and most of the East Coast states. We are the largest dedicated residential company in the U.S., and we have over 100,000 customers. So we just focus purely on residential installation. We don't try to branch out into commercial or anything like that. So we're completely focused and customer obsessed on doing rooftop solar.
Okay. And what are what kind of financing options do you have? I know that's a big thing for us here, is that we run across, sometimes they put a lien on the title, so it makes it harder for the clients to refinance. Have you,
or somebody even buy,
or even to buy? Good point. So if a previous owner has solar, makes it difficult when they try to sell the property because the new owner has to take that on. What is your guys' policy on that?
Yeah, we get that a lot. So, we put a UCC1 filing on the house. We don't put a lien. We actually have a dedicated department within our customer service that helps transfer it to the new homeowner, or if you need to do a refi. And we have a 98.5% transfer. So unlike a local solar company where, they don't really have the customer service or the dedication to do that, you really have the peace of mind of knowing we've got a customer service that can help you transfer it if you do decide to go with like our power purchase agreement where we own the system. We do have financing options as well if you want to own the system.
What do you think is the best, Austin? I know everybody's situation might be specific, but in a general answer, solar's probably definitely the best if you spend more than like $200 a month on your gas and electric, and maybe even less. But let's just say $200. What would be the normal? Should they lease? Should they do the power purchase? Should they buy? What's the general? Since I know you do a lot of these, what do you see?
Yeah, it really depends if you've got the capital. If you've got the capital to do investment in the system, and you're going to be in the house for 10 to 15 years to see a return on your investment, then doing a cash purchase or doing what we call a full prepay, where you're paying for all of your power for the next 20 years, might be the best option for you. But if you're going to be moving in 5 to 10 years, you're never really going to see a return on that investment. You're going to get more for the home when you sell it. But we recommend, for most of our customers, I would say probably about 98% of our customers do what's called a power purchase agreement. And our power purchase agreement's a little bit different from a lot of what the other providers offer. It's kind of like a lease and a PPA all in one. You get a fixed monthly payment, so you know what you're going to be paying for your electricity every month. As long as you qualify for it, the only thing you need is a rooftop that qualifies that's not covered in a forest and a minimum of a 650 credit score. And then with that one, you get the fixed monthly payment. If the system underproduces, we cut you a check, and we true up with that every year. If the system overproduces, you get the production at no additional cost, and you can buy the system after 5 years like a traditional PPA. But with other companies' PPAs, if the system overproduces, you're paying for that overproduction. And if the system underproduces, they don't have any production guarantee.
Okay.
So that's what really sets our PPA apart from our competitors.
Excellent. Man, that's awesome. And what about like installation times? What are you guys running? If I wanted to put solar on my house today, how long does that take? What's that process like?
Yeah, it really all depends on each, city that you live in and the utility. California is usually a pretty quick turnaround time, depending on which utility you're in. But like PG&E, SE, SDG&E, they're all pretty quick. From signing up to actually getting the system on the roof and turned on, depending again on the city and the utility, is anywhere from usually a 2 to 5 month process.
Awesome. And any of our listeners listening right now, how can they get a hold of you?
You can give me a call at 916-708-4394, or you can reach me at austin.sailing@sunrunhome.com.
And you can also reach out to us on our text line if anybody's listening, 619-663-7355, 619-663-7355. Any questions for Kyle, Travis, myself, Austin on solar? We're getting ready to go to break. We're going to get into politics. We come back with my liberal millennial, Travis Selling and Jason Hall. We'll be right back.
Intelligent, conservative, AM 1170, The Answer.
Hey, San Diego, Craig Sewing here. Look, one of the things that nobody likes to hear is that they got bugs in their home. Almost all California homes have some sort of bug or termite problem. It's not a cool thing to have bugs running around your house, so I'm going to help you get rid of them. I want you to connect with Lloyd's Pest Control. These are our good friends of the Craig Sewing Show. They can help you. They've been in business putting bugs out of business since 1931. They'll do a free inspection for you. If you want to get your biggest investment checked out, make sure there's not bugs or termites, go to LloydPest.com. That's LloydPest.com and get a free inspection of your real estate today.
Hi, I'm Philippe Heller with the Real Estate Inspection Company. When buying real estate today, it's more important than ever to have a thorough home inspection to protect yourself. When quality and experience count, contact the Real Estate Inspection Company. We're the largest home inspection company serving San Diego for 10 years. After checking hundreds of items throughout a house, we provide a detailed computer-generated inspection report. And we use the newest and best infrared thermal imaging at every inspection 7 days a week. Check us out at sdinspect.com. That's sdinspect.com.
Love that music, Paul. Welcome back. Again, you're listening to 1170 AM The Answer in the KCBQ studios on Whissel Wednesday with Jason Hall and Travis Stelling, both of Team Home Loans, and our producer, Paul, filling in as always, helping us out on sports. And now we're getting to politics. And, Paul, you'll probably appreciate some of this stuff because as a right-wing Christian conservative, raised that way myself, I love listening to 1170 AM all the time and a lot of the conservative radio hosts we have here. So when I was asked to be part of the Whissel team and do a show on Wednesday, I said, hey, I love 1170 AM because they have a lot of the same values that I do. And this is election time, and there's some crazy stuff going on, but it's always nice to hear the other side. My in-laws are liberals, love them. They didn't think I was the right guy for their daughter, and I can understand why, because I was, complete opposite views as them. But now, after 26 years of marriage to their daughter, they now love me.
They're still on the fence. That's what I heard.
Yeah,
that's actually what I heard.
Cold-blooded.
No, he would probably say that. That's how my father-in-law, he loves me so much. He'd still say that just to be fun. But we respect one another. So, we always like to get some other views and see the stuff. So,
Well, it looks like both of our last time I was in the studio, both of our front runners are pretty much out. You were hoping for Rubio, and
it was either Rubio or Cruz.
Cruz, and doesn't look like either of those are going to get it done. And I was saying that you're going to get Trump, and I was pulling for the Burn Man, and it looks like he's out, and we're going to be stuck with Hillary.
I still can't believe the Burn Man. This guy does really well financially, Paul, and he wants to give all his money to Bernie so that Bernie can do a better job with his income, right? Like, I don't know how do you get that, Trav?
I just have a soul, I guess. I don't know. I want everyone to do well.
Is that number one on your talking point sheet?
Yeah, have a soul. Yeah,
have a soul, do well.
Which really runs counterintuitive to having Hillary as our.
I mean, now some people do have a tough beginning, and some people have some excuses,
sure.
but a lot of people just always use excuses, Trav.
Right.
And what's great about America is that anybody can go from nowhere to the president. Look at our current president, Barack Obama. Nowhere to the president. No other country in America can somebody do that. We have seen people go from nothing. They come here with $100 in their pocket, become multimillionaires. Right?
I'd rather have a tough beginning in America than a really good beginning anywhere else in the world.
I agree. But, I know a lot of people on the left don't think the conservatives have a soul, but I know the right-wing Christian conservative would very much argue that have a ton of soul, give tons of money to help people that are disadvantaged for a certain reason, but not people who just don't want to work. Because anybody doing this as long as I've seen lenders do really well. I've seen real estate agents like Kyle and others do extremely well. Anybody with a drive and stays focused can be successful in the United States. Definitely here in San Diego, I've seen it time and time again. People with zero education make six figures. So I can literally look at anybody and say, if you just stay persistent, stay on it, make some smart decisions, stay away from some of the negative things in the world, drugs, alcohol, you can be successful, right? So, and that's where I think, a lot of people, at least some of my family, just think everybody. They just think everybody. I'm like, but you also want to be graded an A. Do you think everybody should get an A? No. Do you think everybody should just get first place? No. So none of my liberal friends think that, but they somehow think that we should just share everything And that's where I think we kind of disagree sometimes.
I guess so. I mean, I'm not saying that, we want to do like a socialist thing, but I think there should be safety nets. I do think that education should be.
But Bernie is
universal.
a socialist. He's a proud socialist.
Yeah, I get that. But he's also not going to be, president. So, we're going to be stuck with Trump or Hillary at this point. So neither.
I'm not convinced it's going to be Trump. I think it's going to be Hillary for the Democrats. I'm not convinced it's going to be Trump.
I'll take that bet.
You take that bet?
I'll take that bet.
You don't think Trump will win? Because
I don't think that he'll win. I think that he'll be the nominee.
Right. That's what he's saying. So because the conservatives aren't excited about Trump, because he's not going to get the 1,200 and something delegates needed.
Whoa. That's you saying that.
No, that's what we believe, right? I mean, is that the current stuff? Where are we at?
He's mathematically still possible for him to get there. Highly, highly unlikely. I don't see it happening.
Did he go 5-0 last night?
He did, but yes. But
so bring me up
that's all I asked.
So bring me up. So I'm watching NBA. Bring me up. What happened last night?
He won all 5 states.
What states did we have?
They're all like
let me pull up the delegate count. It's still possible for him to get there, but it's highly unlikely.
He's the only one that still has a possibility of making it on the Republican side.
Right. But we've been talking about having the split. And
he needs 53% of the remaining delegates to win.
53%?
53% of the remaining delegates.
That's not too bad. Then he's got a good chance. Then he's got a chance.
There's some states that are coming up that he's not like aligned with that are looking kind of shaky.
Yeah, some of the winner take alls he's not looking so good in, and then there's also some proportional states still left.
But he'll be like on the first ballot. He's going to be right there. He's going to be maybe. Let's say he doesn't make it. He'll be 100 short. You're talking about the guy that wrote a book called The Art of the Deal. He's a billionaire. I'm sure he'll probably make it happen one way or the other.
You would think, but this is the conservatives who we believe we have hearts, Travis, and we're just not convinced.
Conservatives like money. He's a billionaire. He'll get it. He'll get it done.
I don't know. It'll be interesting.
He'll get it done.
They want somebody that's going to be able to beat Hillary. That's the bottom line. Right. And they're not
from
sure.
day one, this election has all been about electability for me.
Right.
And it's about beating Hillary. And I don't know if Trump has the ability to do that. Right now, he sits at 654 delegates with 616 still left to go.
Okay. So
he needs about a little more than half.
A little bit, like what you're saying, 53%. You've been up to date on it, Travis. I like it. So that's your guys' bet. I don't know what you guys are going to put on there at lunch. Maybe watching you do some stand-up comedy. Maybe driving you up to sports trivia. Yeah, that'd be a fun thing to go up there. We'll have to figure something out. We'll do that after the break.
Okay.
But that stuff. So that's the current stuff on politics. So you think Hillary's going to win? I imagine, Travis.
She's already got 90% of the delegates. She absolutely.
No, I'm talking presidency. I'm talking presidency. I'm not talking. We know she's going to win the left. Right.
It's bad either way, to be perfectly honest. Like it's just not great. I wish a third party would come in like a white knight and just ride in. And
that's what I think a lot of people think may happen here with Trump.
We could have 2 third parties. Like Bernie Sanders has barely spent any of his money. He could easily run as an independent for the Democrats, and
which Trump totally supported yesterday. He's all for. He's like. You should go out there and split that Democratic vote.
He's smart. There's no doubt Trump, anybody on the right side should say, yeah, go ahead, Bernie. We'll go ahead and sponsor you. How much money do you need to go run as independent?
I'd consider donating to Bernie Sanders at that point. What Ross Perot did to H.W. Bush in '92.
It's what elected Clinton.
Bernie Sanders could easily do. How ironic would that be?
And you're welcome. Listen to this. He still thinks the jobs and everything. All the stuff we did prior to that had nothing to do with the run that Bill had. But we
the 12 years of Reaganomics had nothing to do with that.
Nothing of that. That would.
What about that Bush? Why didn't he get reelected?
Because of Ross Perot.
Such a good job.
Because of Ross Perot.
Yeah.
And how funny would
sitting president can't get reelected? Yeah, okay.
Oh, he's just giving it. It was the last sitting president not to.
Well,
yeah, you're right.
It would be very interesting that if Hillary Clinton got Ross Perot after that was to put her husband in office.
It would be classic. And, there's not everybody on the left is not 100% behind Hillary, right?
No.
I mean, she's definitely not your number one pick.
No.
But if you had to pick between Trump or Cruz or anybody on the right, you guys are going to pick Hillary.
Yes.
And just like I think Trump still has a chance, Paul, here to beat Hillary, okay? Because I believe when we go to vote, the conservative right will still vote. And when they get in that booth, if they only had Trump or Hillary, I'm pretty confident all the people I know and listen to on this show and everywhere else are going to vote Trump, even though it's not their primary choice.
Right.
Right.
Well, I'm right there. I'd vote for Trump.
Right.
He's not my choice right now, but I would vote for him as the nominee.
I agree.
Well, remember,
he's not my choice.
It controls the Supreme Court. There's a lot of other things that the president does as well. So it's not just, voting for Trump, but having a Republican or a Democrat to control the Supreme Court, which is
and that's
extremely
key,
important.
because this next president is going to determine the course of the court for the next 20 years.
That's a good point,
At
guys.
least.
Yeah, that's huge.
Because there's going to be several nominees.
Do you guys think Obama's not going to get his stuff in there? Because there's been people talking about he's trying to get stuff in before he's done.
Well, if they lose the Senate, watch this. If they lose the Senate, they have,
that few months
right before January, before he leaves office. I would
about 3
guarantee that
weeks.
he's going to try to jam that through and get his nominee picked before he leaves office.
There's precedent for the Senate to block it.
All right, let's talk about that when we come back. We're also going to talk, is the real estate market in a bubble? There's a lot of people out there. Even Craig had me on his show. Are we in a bubble? We'll talk about it coming right back. Again, you're listening to 1170 AM The Answer.
AM 1170, theanswer.com. Hear us anywhere in San Diego and the world. AM 1170, The Answer.
What if you could safely grow your retirement account with a reasonable rate of return with no risk of principal? Hi, this is Dave Harris with Wealth Preservation, specializing in retirement income and insurance planning. There's nothing I enjoy more than helping San Diegans protect and grow their retirement savings. For over 4 decades, we have helped families achieve financial success. If you need help with your retirement planning, please visit me online or call me today. My number is 800-313-PLAN, or visit me online at wealthpreservationllc.com.
Your Social Security number is at more risk than you think. Personal information like your Social Security number, bank account information, and your taxes need to be protected. Hi, I'm Angie Stanley with Oakwood Escrow. As a consumer, when you're buying, selling, or refinancing a home, you do have a choice in who you use for escrow. Oakwood Escrow has gone to extreme measures to make sure your private information is kept safe and secure. Call me today and reference The Craig Sewing Show to receive a custom gift at the close of your escrow. Call 858-217-5248, 858-217-5248, or visit oakwoodescrow.com.
Hi, I'm Philippe Heller with the Real Estate Inspection Company. When buying real estate today, it's more important than ever to have a thorough home inspection to protect yourself. When quality and experience count, contact the Real Estate Inspection Company. We're the largest home inspection company serving San Diego for 10 years. After checking hundreds of items throughout a house, we provide a detailed, computer-generated inspection report. And we use the newest and best infrared thermal imaging at every inspection 7 days a week. Check us out at sdinspect.com. That's sdinspect.com.
This is Craig Sewing, and I endorse Philippe Heller as our exclusive inspector for San Diego.
Your home should be a place that you love coming to. Hi, I'm Nikki Klug, interior designer, and there is nothing I enjoy more than helping San Diegans live in homes that they fall madly in love with. I've helped hundreds of homeowners experience a sense of luxury, rejuvenation, and inspiration in their everyday lives. If you need help creating a home that you love, please visit me online at nikkiklugdesign.com or call me at 619-948-7173.
All right, welcome back. Again, you're listening to 1170 AM The Answer in the KCBQ studios. Jason Hall filling in for Kyle Whissel on Whissel Wednesdays, and in studio, Travis Saling and producer Paul. We were just talking about politics, and let's kind of wrap that up, guys. We don't think Obama has the power or has the time to get in some of the Supreme Judge candidates, but we both know, and we all know, that if the Senate, as you mentioned, Travis, goes right the last 3 weeks before his presidency is over, he's going to do everything he can to not only pardon a bunch of people, but probably get in the guys he wants and try to make the fastest approval ever, which hopefully will be blocked from the right. But it'll be interesting. What do you think on that, Travis?
Well, if the Senate, is, I think you misspoke there, to the right and goes to the left, and he has the majority, then yeah, he will try to slam it through while he's in there. If he loses the election, if Hillary loses the election, if a Democrat's coming in, then I don't think he slams it through. But right now they don't have a majority, so the Republicans can filibuster his pick for the next
And so,
year.
what's the precedence of this going down, Paul?
In the past, with an outgoing president, a president that's not going to get reelected, so a second-term president like with Reagan, when there was an open nomination, it's been blocked for pretty much the last 2 years of his presidency. It's like, oh no, he's outgoing. Like he shouldn't be allowed to have that much influence on the court for the next 25 years. It's got to be the next president. We got to let
which is not what the Constitution calls for. Just FYI.
Yeah, but the Constitution also doesn't call for 9 people on the Supreme Court. That's just arbitrary. It's tradition.
It doesn't have a time limit on. Basically, there's no time limit on how long it should take to nominate somebody.
There's no time limit on how soon an open seat has to be filled, though.
True.
So you just go by history.
You just go by precedent. Yeah, what's happened in history, which is typically not years and years. That was not how the founders saw that going. But
the last 20 years, how long does it typically take to get somebody in?
Probably 6 to 9 months. In a normal situation, but it's not very often that we have. Typically, a Supreme Court justice will wait until a new president is elected before they retire, just to do
it right.
Yeah,
right.
In a good transition of power. But with Scalia passing away, where he didn't have a choice, then we're thrown into this quandary, basically.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. And,
it's the swing vote too, so it's like super important. So not only is the presidency who's going to be in charge of starting wars and dealing with the deficit and all the other stuff that presidents do, he's going to be the one that's going to be picking this, basically picking the Supreme Court for potentially, like you said, maybe another 20 years. Because if you look at the court, there are some older people on there that may not make it until the next.
I think Ginsburg's 86.
Yeah, she's
but
getting
it's
up
not
there.
like they don't leave. These guys are in here till they death, right? I mean,
it's a lifetime appointment.
Yeah, they can retire if they want,
Right.
but it's a lifetime appointment, and most of them don't leave.
Yeah, see, that's, I don't know. To me, I think there needs to be some age that it's like, okay, at X or in certain health, it's time to rotate and maybe move on. I know some sharp 86, 90-year-olds, don't get me wrong, but at some point, I think people are staying in there almost like a king, they think they're there forever, right? Yeah. And then they start to change and do stuff, and we've seen that happen where guys all of a sudden, were one way, and then after 20, 30 years and gaining power and certain stuff, they start to vote a different way.
So you want term limits?
I don't know if I want term limits, but I want some type of limit, I mean,
John Paul Stevens was 90 when he retired.
Yeah, wow.
And look at the House, man. There's people who've been in the House for 30 more years.
Right, but that's elected, and the people are electing those every year, even when they're 200 years old.
Yeah, but who do they represent at that point? I mean, they're so bought by that point, it's ridiculous. So I think they should put term limits in there like they do in the Senate. And
no term limits in the Senate.
Oh, that's right. You're right. That is actually true. Yeah. So
yeah, the only term limits they have on the federal level is with the presidency.
That's true.
Yeah, 8 years. Right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, we only had one president go longer than that.
Yeah,
FDR.
What's his name? FDR. He came back and ran like his independent, right?
Yeah, he ran during World War II. He was elected 4 times, so he would have served 16 years. He only served a little over 12 because he passed away early into his 4th term.
Wow, that's crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. All right, so let's get back into the market. Mm-hmm. Do you feel, Craig Sowen asked me on the American Dream, do you feel like we're in a bubble?
I do not feel like we're in a bubble.
And why?
Because 2 things, I think. One, crazy amount of demand. Okay, so why does everyone want to do that? Because rents are going up, and there's a lot of people like myself, first-time home buyers, ready to start their family. The millennial buyers are here, and they are finally ready to buy because the job market is stabled out. Thanks, Obama. They're also getting raises for the first time in a long time, so they're making more money, have stable jobs. And there's almost no inventory. From 2010 to 2013, barely any houses were built because we were, and now they need houses. There's no supply.
Let me ask you this, Travis. I don't think we're in a bubble, but here's some of the things that have happened. The government has purchased a lot of mortgage-backed securities and treasury bonds to keep the rates down. They're not buying any more, but they're still holding a lot of that stuff. Let's say they sell off and the rates go from, mid-3s to the 4% range. Let's say they go into the 6% range. When you quote a millennial the same house at 6%, what do you think that millennial is going to do? And that could happen, in a quick time. I don't think it will. I hope it doesn't. But that, I think, is the one thing that makes you think.
Yeah, sure. If rates go up 200%, that would throw some cold water on the market. But like you said, you don't think that's going to happen. So it's a lot of hypotheticals. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, especially with, an outgoing president. He's certainly not going to let that happen on his watch. And we'll see what happens with who gets elected. I think that'll have a big,
But the bubble last time was created because of oversupply of homes, right? Oversupply of easy money. Anybody could get financing.
Right, and that's not the case anymore. Like, it's actually still really tricky. So that's why that was my second point, was that we have, people that did lose their home in 2009, let's say 2009, the Fannie Freddie guidelines are 7 years before you buy again. Well, that puts them at 2016. So those people are what are called boomerang buyers. They're coming back to the market, and they're competing with millennials. So you have a decade's worth of demand and almost no supply because they basically put housing on a freeze, because there weren't any buyers, and we're worried about losing their shirts. So, now
definitely here in Southern California, there was a freeze because not only is there not much land to build on, unique to San Diego or at least Southern California, like in Vegas and in Phoenix, you could build because there's land, but they even put freezes, right? So we have limited supply of land. We didn't build anything, so it's kept our supply of homes low.
Right.
But we're still having people born every day, people coming into the workforce every day, people graduating high school, college. Things are happening every single day.
Absolutely.
That's where that demand's
at. There's more
at.
demand than there is supply.
My only concern, I would think, bearing some 9/11 attack, that could impact real estate in certain markets. I tell people here in San Diego, God forbid something like that ever happened, it could impact our real estate market. I think there would be people who would leave San Diego. We have a lot of families here, and they would be, wow, I'm concerned now for my family's, safety, and they might want to flee to Utah to, root on your Utah Jazz. But, those are things that might happen. Besides that, the only other thing is I think interest rates. If interest rates were to do some crazy spike that hopefully the government would watch over and make sure it doesn't happen, but you never know, depending on who gets elected.
Yellen's on it.
Who knows? I mean, Trump might yell at Yellen. He might yell. Who knows, right? But you would hope they keep it in check and nothing goes crazy. But those are a couple of the wild cards I guess could happen.
Yeah.
But both of us agree we're not in a bubble. Supply and demand are still
not like
equal.
it was before. This is legit. And that's also part of the reason of why people are trying to get in. I mean, your rent's going up, $200-$300 a year, or you can get a mortgage payment for almost the same price, and you are worried about the potential of rates going up. So why not lock into a 30-year fix, have your payments settled and done, for the next 30 years?
I was talking to a guy last night. He wants to pay $1,200 in rent. I said, dude, we can get you the condo for $1,400. Well, I can't afford $1,400. I go, after your tax deductions, it's cheaper than $1,200. Yep. And by the way, that payment's fixed for 30 years. The only thing that's going to change is your insurance might change a few bucks, your HOA may change, but you have a 30-year fixed housing payment.
Right.
Your housing payment's fixed 30 years. You just mentioned it, Travis.
Go get a lease for 30 years at the current rate. It's never going to happen. You're not going to get a 30-year lease at that $1,200.
Rents have always gone up. I've never seen rents go down in 25 years of doing this. I've seen them slow down, but they never go down.
They're projected another 6% for the rest of this year, and then it's going to go up again next year. So it's crazy.
So it's crazy. If you haven't bought, reach out to the Whissel team. You can reach Kyle Whissel, 619-663-7355. You can also text us on that number. Ask for Jason and Travis. Austin, one of our solar guys, which also is Travis's brother. My liberal friend, it was a good show. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
We appreciate you guys all. We'll see you next Wednesday on Whissel Wednesday. Thank you. We're out.
Can you blow my whistle, baby, let me know. Girl, I'm gonna show you how to do it, and we start real slow. You just